mercy. I'm funny how? I mean, funny like I'm a clown, I amuse you.
You're tired.
Well, the lunchtime whistle and the morning's finally done. I'm jumping in my car, I'm gonna have a little fun. The Doghouse Network's on my radio dial. Big Dog's taking care of business for a while. If you're listening to another station I don't understand, 'cause nobody does it like Thom Abraham.
Give us a call, Steve.
He's a northern-bred, southern-fed, slick-talking guy. Listeners in his posse are the Junkyard Dogs. The SEC from Tennessee to calling them hogs. From Gainesville up to Lexington to the Tide and Tiger Land, nobody does it like Thom Abraham.
I guess I'm on here. Am I on? Can somebody respond?
Hey, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Thom Abraham Show. It was supposed to be a Trash Panda Tuesday here in the Doghouse because today was supposed to be the Trash Pandas Media Day, and we were going to be down there at the stadium broadcasting live from the mezzanine, and we'd have the manager on and have some fun, have Josh Carey and all that good stuff. However, weather has forced postponement of that to tomorrow, and we will not be down there tomorrow. We will send Steve Bolton down there tomorrow, and he'll help us. He'll report from down there to the Thom Abraham Show tomorrow down there. So it's just your standard, good old-fashioned Top 10 Tuesday, and we've got a lot to do for you today. Now, look, David Moulton will join us a little bit later on in the show, top of the one. His show, Miller and Moulton in the Morning, will be coming soon to Talk Radio WZZN, which is your home for all things Trash Pandas at 97.7-2. Now, if you don't have a digital radio, all you got to do is download the app from your app store, and you can listen online as well at talkradiowzzn.com to our sister station. Now, last night, the woman took center stage with a couple of regional finals in the NCAAs, and Iowa took down LSU behind another great game from Caitlin Clark, while UConn, here's a stunner, I can't believe this, UConn made it to the Final Four. You got to be kidding me. You know, this is only the 23rd time Gino Auriemma has gotten the Huskies to the Final Four. He's won 50% of the other 22, slacker. He's only won 11 out of the 22, slacker. So we get 2 number 1s and 2 number 3s. No, this isn't what I needed. I needed the other thing. I emailed you something else. I got this already. I emailed you something else to print. Grizz, come walking in the studio. Something more exciting. It's more fun. Sent it to you a little while ago. Anyway, yeah, that's what I need. 2 of those. Not for me. 1 for here and 1 for me. We're just doing business. Our meeting is not over yet. Our staff meeting is not ended yet. We're still doing business on our staff meeting. It'll be over soon. Staff meeting will be over soon. Thom Abraham Show interrupting the staff meeting. What is up with that? Anyway, the Chicks played last night. And we're going to get 2 number 1 seeds and 2 number 3 seeds on the ladies' side. We have 2 number 1 seeds of 4 and 11 on the men's side. But for the first time in history, we have 2 schools, NC State and UConn, with both their men's and women's teams in there. Now, getting a men's and women's team to the Final Four happens more than you think. In fact, this is the 14th time since 1983 where you've had both a men's and a women's representative from the same university in the Final Four. That's today's list, in fact. It's happened 14 times. Interestingly, though, only twice have both teams won the Natty. UConn did it in 2004, and then UConn did it in 2014. So what year is it now? 2024. There's a rhythm to this. Every 10 years, UConn wins both on the men and the women. The UConn men are a prohibitive favorite. The problem for the UConn women is that to get it done, they're going to have to get past South Carolina, which is 36-0. I mean, not for nothing, but they're 36-0. Now, I did watch a decent amount of that LSU-Iowa game last night. The outside shooting was terrific. But the game, I'm not piling on women. I'm just telling you, I'm giving you an honest opinion here. I'm not going to pander like everybody else is pandering. Oh, the women's game is taking, look, the game is slow. It's sloppy. It's played almost exclusively on the floor. And when the girls get inside, they look like they're totally out of control. It looks like a turnover is about to happen at any particular moment in time. But it is what it is. It's the women's game. And that's okay. It's the women's game. That's their game. And we're watching it. We watched it last night. I bet 9 or 10 million people watched that last night. Be a huge crowd to watch that last night. But again, we are being force-fed this. Check this quote out from one very prominent website. Quote, now, the Caitlin Clark show continues. The NCAA men's and women's all-time scoring leader showed her must-see firepower once again Monday night with 9 made free throw attempts, which tied a tournament record. Look, guys, gals, she's not the men's all-time leading scorer, just the women's all-time leading scorer. It says in the story, it said the NCAA men's and women's all-time leading scorer. She's not the men's all-time leading scorer. She's the women's all-time leading scorer. She's not the men's all-time leading scorer. She's pretty good. Throwing that little ball in the net. Doing a good job of that. All right, phone lines are open 256-576-4977. I got to be honest with you. I was pulling for LSU because of the SEC. I don't like Kim Mulkey. I just don't. But I was pulling for LSU because of the SEC. Iowa gets to win. I wanted to see South Carolina and LSU play in the final like they did in the SEC because I wanted, they fought last time. So I did kind of want to see that. You can text the show, 732-9TA-SHOW. That's 732-982-7469. Great way to communicate with us. My X feed is at Thom Abraham Show. The station's feed is at 97.7 ESPN. We're on the Facebook at 97.7 ESPN, where you can get a link to our YouTube channel, WZZN TV. Like and subscribe on the YouTube and get notifications. Go to 97.7ESPN.com and get links to all of that. While you are at it, get our apps. Search the 97.7 ESPN, the Zone from your app store. And then you can get links to Zone 2, 3, 4, and 5, as well as our alternate streaming channels for all that great programming. Snag your Talk Radio WZZN app as well for more options. Check out our very busy calendar at 97.7ESPN.com. Let me just throw one more log on the fire. We didn't get to this yesterday because we had the short show. Did you watch any of the UFL? Not for anything, but the USFL was 3-0 against the XFL in the opening day of the UFL. Now, attendance was not very impressive. It wasn't. They averaged like 14,000 a game. It was down from last year. But it was Easter weekend, plus the Final Four and the opening weekend in baseball. Now, personally, I think that this league would be better off in the old XFL window, right after the Super Bowl. When the juices are flowing, maybe 2 weeks later at most, after the Super Bowl, and finish it by mid-May so we can get some summer in before things get going again with the other football. The championship game this season of the UFL is June 16th, which is Father's Day. Again, not smart. And in the middle of the NBA Finals and the Stanley Cup Final. In mid-May, you got it to yourself. Baseball's underway. You have it to yourself in mid-May. And another thing, when you put at UFL in your X account, like you want to look up the UFL and you put at UFL in your X account, it redirects you to at XFL 2023. I mean, come on. Fix that. Will you fix that? That account has about 388,000 followers, but then there's another 130,000 followers over at USFL, which also has random UFL news. Come on. Can you please, show that you care as much as you want us to care. True story, Grizz. Go to the Twitter and put in at UFL, and what comes up? At XFL 2023. That, to me, is lazy. If that was happening in this little company, our little company, if that was happening, you know what I would do? I would rip Captain Cool a new one, because he's responsible for our Twitter accounts and things like that. I would crush him. I would say, come on now. That's a big company. And by the way, while I'm bitching about that, this Braves thing with the YouTube TV and any other provider that does not carry Bally Sports is really beginning to annoy me. I get it that Bally is an add-on, okay? But I added the sports package on my YouTube account. For an extra $19, you can get the sports package per month, and you get 4K sports, and then you get a bunch of random other channels and stuff. I added that, so I'm paying for that. But Bally isn't in that. So that means I'm left with buying the Bally app for $15 a month. $15 a month. But I'm already paying for MLB.TV in that app. So why can I not get a game that is involving a team that's 200 miles from my front door? Furthermore, for those of you that live across the border like I do in Tennessee, I can't get a Reds game in Winchester. Did you know that? I can't get a Cincinnati Reds game either. I'm blocked out of Cincinnati Reds game. Cincinnati is 360 miles from my driveway. Nor can I get a Predators game. This is just dumb. These are regional sports. The only teams most people care about are the teams in their region, and I can't watch the teams in my region. What I can get is a Yankees game. And they are now 5-0 for the first time in 32 years. This is only the fourth time in their illustrious history that the Yankees have opened 5-0. They did it in 1933, did not win the World Series. They did it in 1988, did not win the World Series. They did it in 1992, did not win the World Series. Now they've done it this year, so don't get too excited. This team has won 27 World Series. They never won in any years they opened 5-0. So there is that. All right, that guy over there in the little glass room with the slanted ceiling, playing the Platters That Matter and the Stacks of Wax, a man in the phones, keeping us on the air. And he's happy with the Braves, which he had to listen to yesterday, win 9-0, and they may not play again the rest of the week in Chicago because there's snow on the ground. It's one and the only DJ Grizzy Grizz.
Who in the blue hell are you? What is your name? Detective. It doesn't matter what your name is.
I'm the producer of this show. If I didn't step up, you're nowhere. I put this thing together out of spit and polish.
This is ridiculous. It's a radio show. It ain't a 1-hour television spectacular.
I think this is one of the traits of a really good producer. Keep the talent happy.
I'm all jacked up on Mountain Dew.
That Thom? Hey, Thom.
He may be the smartest person that I've ever met.
Testosterone high today. What's that? Testosterone, whatever the it is. Testosterone.
I wake up in the morning, I piss excellence.
It really doesn't matter what you think. It really doesn't matter what you say.
So I'm watching the weather here on the 19 Futurecast, Grizz, and it looks like all hell's about to break loose at some particular point in time. But I don't know. Do you think we would have got it? No, I guess not. When is that? No, that's Tuesday at 6 o'clock at night. Tonight's not going to be a fun night.
No,
it's going to
not
be
at all.
It's going to be rocking and rolling tonight.
Be careful.
This front is coming through tonight. It's going to be bad. But I think we're okay for the next 2 hours. I think we could have taken. I even brought a hat because I knew it would be windy. And my luscious hair would be blowing all around, So I brought a hat, which I left down in the conference room. Do you think Drew has snagged it yet?
No. But we've got a few up here if you need an extra.
I need to go down and get my hat.
I think it'd be all right.
I
don't think Drew usually doesn't wear other people's hats. Now he'll give people hats.
He'll give other people hats to wear his hats.
He doesn't wear
other people's hats.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't think he'll wear other people's hats.
Yeah, I was ready to be. You and I were both going to be out there today.
Yeah, that would have been a lot of fun.
It would have been fun. It would have been good. And now it's going to be tomorrow.
So does that mean, because I didn't look, does that mean that they'll delay the announcement of the roster another day?
Ooh, that's a good
because
question.
of rain? Because it was supposed to come out today.
Why did they say we would be excited about the roster? It was some reason
A lot of guys coming back. Seems like there's going to be some names maybe we've from before.
Maybe
Kyron
Mike
Paris.
Trout? Did they send Mike Trout down?
Mike Trout.
I mean,
Anthony Rendon.
to get excited. I mean, what the hell? They're not doing anything on a major league level. They might as well come down here. Well, Trout actually is off to a good start. I don't know what it is. I don't know why. All right, let me just start taking phone calls. I usually take a break when I don't have a guest in the first hour. I usually take a break, but let me just start banging a couple of calls here. My boy LSU Lynch, legend in the doghouse. He's up. LSU Lynch, welcome to the show. How are you?
Son, think of this is gonna be quick. Look here. I don't know what I am more pissed at right now. Okay. My LSU Bayou Bengal baseball team sucks. Absolutely, y'all suck. And I don't know what's worse between them and Nashville letting Beyonce in. But wait, we got to look at the Michigan fans that got, they they cheated their way to their national championship. Don't y'all forget that, because your coach got suspended for the game. So, yeah, it's not a bad day. The tornado coming. Have a good one.
So, Grizz, what is he talking about with letting Beyonce in Nashville? What was that all about?
I wasn't paying attention. I was taking a couple of questions from a caller, anonymous.
He said he was upset because Nashville let Beyonce in. Do you know what he means? What's up with that?
I don't know what that's about. I don't know.
Do you know why I have all kinds of static in my ear?
Oh, I think it's because I had it because he hung up on me and then I put the caller on. That was my fault. I wasn't paying attention.
All right. Good job by you. I'm not sure. Flesh that out. Is he just saying because Beyonce's going to perform in Nashville?
I don't know. I've been saying some stuff too. Like, I guess people are accusing her of not being pregnant or something too. Like, I don't know if that has
to be pregnant.
I guess or something.
Are we supposed to be?
But apparently, the way she sits in a seat or something, it's
supposed to be paying attention to Beyonce's life.
I don't even know. Apparently, I guess she got also paid a ton of money to go play a concert for some rich person in another country or something like that too. I don't know. It was apparently she doesn't tour right now, but apparently some rich person in India or something paid her a bunch of money and she went over there.
Maybe
and
she
did
moved to Nashville. Why did they say they let her in Nashville? All right, so Lynch.
Nothing wrong with that. Nashville's a good place.
Yeah, Lynch, you're going to have to flesh that out a little bit. No pun intended. Hit the text window and let me know what the heck you're talking about. I don't know what he's talking about. But, that's the way this is this is going to be a disjointed show today. So I don't know. I don't know what he's talking about. By the way, last week we had mentioned that this week we would be doing the Masterfecta. The Masters is not till next week.
Next week,
right? It's next week.
Yeah, because I was watching PTI and Tony Kornheiser was like, it's not this week. He's like, it's in 2 weeks, and I was like, no, it's next week.
Yeah, he's right. It's next.
Yeah.
Jeremy's up next. Jeremy, welcome to the show. How are you?
I'm good. I can explain the Beyonce thing.
All right, explain.
He's talking about her new country album.
Oh, yeah, I saw that. Where the Taylor Swift is on it. She doesn't do any country anymore either. So they got Taylor Swift. It's called Cowboy or Cowgirl or I don't know what it's called. What's the new Beyonce?
Cowboy Carter.
Cowboy Carter. And somehow Taylor Swift got her way into that. So about the whitest chick in the world is on a Beyonce album.
Well, and she did a Dolly Parton. She redid Jolene.
Who did? Taylor Swift or Beyonce?
Yeah, Beyonce.
Right. Grizz, I want to hear Beyonce's version of Jolene. All right, in this show.
There's only one, but I'll play it anyway.
What do you mean?
There's only one Jolene, but yeah.
I want to hear Beyonce's version of Jolene. What do you mean there's only one? Jolene is
just saying you can't do covers of Jolene. There's only one.
Well, yeah, but I want to hear the Beyonce version of it. I mean, I know Dolly did it. I want to hear the Beyonce version of it. So, all right. Well, thanks, Jeremy, for clearing that up.
The White Stripes did a version of it too.
Who
doesn't make it any better?
The White Stripes.
Yeah, they did a good version of it. I like it.
There are songs. There are songs where I actually like the cover better than the original. There are some songs like that. There's a couple of songs that my boy Uncle Cracker covered. Drift Away.
Well,
I like Uncle Cracker's Drift Away, and I love the original Drift Away, but I like Uncle Cracker's Drift Away even better. But anyway.
Hey, Tom, can I ask you a question?
Absolutely.
It's a sports-related question.
Okay.
It has to do with the LSU women's basketball team.
Okay.
Did I really just watch an interview with Angel Reese, crying and complaining about people sexualizing her, and her go and do a SI swimsuit cover, and there's pictures of her all over the internet in a bikini, like doing model poses, doing bottle shoots and stuff like that, and yet she's going to complain that men are looking at her?
Oh, not only that, she spends hours doing her hair just right, before the game, and then she's got the fake eyelashes on, the lipstick on. Look, I'll say this about the Caitlin Clark. That dude doesn't look like she's ready to play basketball. Now, Angel Reese is an outstanding basketball player, and she played very, very well last night, blocking shots and doing all that stuff. She don't jump off the floor either, by the way. But Angel Reese goes to great lengths to make sure her makeup is right, and the eyelashes, and the hair, and the bikinis, and wearing a thing on one leg, having one leg with nothing on it, and one leg. She's a fashionista. So I don't want to hear from Angel Reese telling us that men are sexualizing Angel Reese when she is sexualizing herself, young lady.
And that's what kills me about it is, I'm all for women feeling empowered.
Yeah.
I'm all, I think it's, more power. I have no problem with a woman getting paid the same thing that a man gets paid in a job. I have no problem with equal rights. None of that's a problem. I mean, I think that's just a big thing that gets blown out of proportion by politicians that want you to vote for them. That's all I feel like it is.
Well, I'll tell you the other thing. I'll tell you the other time you see it, Jeremy, is you'll see a woman with a super low-cut dress where the girls are just falling out. You know what I mean? Just falling out over there. And then she'll be talking to a dude, and then she'll say to the dude, up here, my eyes are up here. Well, you know what? Put the girls away then. All right? Stop with everything falling out of your dress, and then give me crap because my eyes happen to drift down when your whole chest is exposed. Why are you dressed that way if you're not trying to, elicit a response? There you go. So I tell my daughters all the time.
Everybody's staring at my mustache.
Yeah.
Hey, well, look, I'm going to get in on that next week.
All right.
Hopefully I will do better than I did during college football season and the NFL.
Yeah.
It was a rough one this past year.
I think yeah.
But there's my sports conversation for the day, and I hope I cleared up the whole Beyonce thing for you.
Thank you. Appreciate it. We will do a Friday trifecta this week. Grizz, on Friday. We will do a Friday trifecta.
Good, because
it's going to be, because we don't want people.
I'll get some angry phone calls.
Yeah. Well, and we got a natural one.
Yeah.
All right. Our Friday trifecta, it'll carry over to Monday, but our Friday trifecta will be very clear. It'll be the two national semifinal games and the national championship game. So you got to tell me who's going to win against the spread, and then who's going to win on Monday night. No, I don't think we're not going to put the women's national championship. We won't do that. Grumpy is up next. Grumpy, welcome to the show. How are you?
Hey, pretty good, man. Speaking of trifecta, who won last week?
We had none. We had none last week. We did not have one.
I won.
Chris
Not
won.
going to let it go. Hey, listen, man. The number one dog law on your bracket challenge is what?
One bracket, period. End of story.
Okay.
You put it in as many games as you want, but one bracket. The same bracket. That's it.
I'd like to make a number two dog law.
Okay.
And that is you got to fill out your own bracket, Natty Dan.
Are we thinking that maybe Natty Danny did not make out?
Oh, he didn't. I mean, he already admitted it. I think we need to get him evicted from his home.
I think what he did was
Natty Ginger did it.
I think Natty Ginger got him to the site is what I think happened. I think Natty Ginger got him to the site, but he was the one that actually made out. I think he made out the bracket. We should ask him if he can name one guy on Purdue's roster. He's got Purdue winning it all.
Can we just call him Ginger?
Natty Ginger?
Something like that.
Man.
Hey, well, let me ask you this: I want to ask you how you did. I know you ran out of gas, but
oh my God,
how did you do on the Tim's board? But first, let me ask you this:
Yeah,
you coached at a team called Wilbonia Football. What did you say that was?
Livonia, Livonia, Livonia Bulldogs. It was my first coaching job when I was 26 years old, high school, 25 years old. It was a high school coaching job. I coached there for 5 years before I went on to the college.
And Bama Brad said that Michigan played a deaf basketball team the other day. What? If you can't hear, you can still play basketball, right?
Yeah. Might have been.
The blind school, I understand. But.
Blind would be tough. Hey, let me tell you something. I coached in college against Gallaudet in Washington, D.C. Do you know who Gallaudet is? They're on that commercial. Have you seen the commercial where they got the helmets and the guy has the little, he can see the thing in his eye, with the eye thing? That's Gallaudet. So I coached against them, and what they had, their players are deaf or partially deaf, and what they had was they had a big drum, a huge drum that they put at the line of scrimmage, and a guy would swing the thing, and he would hammer the drum, and that was their snap count. They would go sometimes on two. You know, they'd hit the drum twice. You know, you couldn't jump the count on the deal, and so on. But here's the dirty little secret, and I don't mean any disrespect to Gallaudet, but I'm just telling you, we had to tell our guys this. Their guy, they would hit late all the time, and they would say they couldn't hear the whistle. Which is crap, okay? They could hear they used special whistles that were piercing to end the play, and then they would get up after they hit you, like after the whistle, and they would get up and they would be like, hey, we didn't hear the whistle. We didn't hear the whistle. Like, get out of here. You heard the whistle.
Running out of gas in your boat, I probably would have slipped the guy a 50 to bring me a gallon of gas so you didn't have to be towed in.
So here's the thing, and I only had right at the end of the show to tell this story. Here was the thing. I called my buddy who's a guide on the lake, and he called another guy. He was my buddy that's a guide on the lake. I called him, and I said, listen, are you on the water right now? He says, no, I'm on Kentucky Lake running a college tournament. I said, oh, man. He said, why? I said, I'm stuck out here on the lake. I don't want anybody to know I ran out of gas. You come and get me. I'll say there was a malfunction. You drag me in, and I'll say that something happened. You know what I mean? He goes, you're out of gas. He goes, wait a minute. And he starts yelling to all the other tournament people and directors at the tournament at the weigh-in. And he's like, hey, does anybody know who can go rescue Thom Abraham from Bassmaster Radio? He's on the lake. He's out of gas. So he calls a buddy of his that's a guide, and the buddy who is a guide says, tell him just to stay right there at Goose Island, and I will bring him a gallon of gas, and we'll get him going. So he's yelling this through the phone, embarrassing me in front of everybody. And then I came across the kid, and I called him back. I said, tell your buddy not to come and get me. This kid is going to tow me in, was the deal. So
in a John boat.
And while it was a Triton, it was about a 20-year-old. It was probably a 15-year-old Triton that was it was like a 17-footer with a 150 Mercury on it, and he just dragged me slow. And I just sat there in my boat. Thank God it wasn't like, that it was only the end of March. Because if this was like, May and there was a ton of traffic on the lake and everybody could see me, only a few people saw me, thank goodness. I mean, and the kid says he was born and raised on the lake, and he was pre-fishing for the Classic, this week's Classic too. And so hopefully we'll see how many people he told. He probably put it on his Facebook. Hey, I towed in Thom Abraham.
You're on the Lake Gunnersville Facebook account probably. There's a video of you.
Tim's Ford. Yeah.
All right. Let me know how you did, man. I'm going to hang out.
I appreciate you.
Well, I'm just saying that there's one locally here that there's always videos people will post on the Lake Gunnersville, and I follow it on Facebook, and it's kind of funny sometimes because you'll get people arguing with each other.
It was so embarrassing. So how I did was I pulled into a very much a protected spot. I was looking for a good starting spot. I had checked 2 or 3 other spots, nothing doing. So I pulled into a spot, and that looked that I know well, that I like, and it was a slack water spot. And 2 pitches with a jig. Boom! I'm hooked up, 16-incher. It's not a winning fish, but it's a fish that'll weigh. So I put that one in the box. I go down the bank a little bit further, and now I'm throwing a jerkbait. Two, 3, 4 casts with the jerkbait. Boom, I'm hooked up again. Another 16-incher. Put that one in the box, or didn't put that one in the box, but threw that one back in. And now I switched to a crankbait because I'm practicing. I'm not trying to wipe out all the fish in this area. I want to see what they're on. So now I switched to a DT10 Rapala DT10 crankbait that runs 10 feet deep. So I run that, and I get another one. So 8 casts, 3 keeper bass on 8 casts, and I'm like, okay, I'm done here. Yeah. I don't need to wear these fish out. Mm-hmm. I know I can get 10 pounds here. It's not going to win the tournament, but I can get a 10-pound limit here. 5 fish, 2-pounders a piece, 2.5 pounds, whatever. And so that's when I pulled out of there, and that's when I realized that I was on E. So I was going to check 2 or 3 other bigger fish spots just to see if they had moved in there yet, and that's when I ran out of gas. Halfway back on the middle of the lake. It was
at least it, like, that's the only thing is, like, at least it wasn't high traffic. Or, like, all of a sudden a storm comes over and then it turns
bad. Or if it was 35 degrees like it's going to be on Saturday.
Yeah.
Now, that's the other thing. It's a waste of time, my practice, because it was beautiful. It was 75 degrees, T-shirt weather. Water temps were almost 60. And now it's, 75, 78 degrees out right now. The water temp is probably coming up even more. Saturday morning at 7 o'clock when the tournament launches, we'll be in the boats at 6. When the tournament launches at 7, it'll be 34 degrees on Saturday morning. It's going to be bluebird skies with high sun and bluebird skies and bright sunshine, and the high won't happen until after the weigh-in. The high is projected to be about 55 degrees. It's going to be totally different conditions. It's the worst possible spring scenario. Post-cold front, high sky, bluebird skies, freezing cold, going to get frostbite. Awful. It's awful. I can't believe it. It happens every time when I got a tournament. The bad weather comes in for the tournament. Couldn't be last Saturday. It has to be this Saturday. So, anyway, let's get a break. We'll come back. Phone lines are open. We'll continue with your calls next. 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
When you call most roofing companies, all you'll hear is, you need a new roof. Not when you call Fleming. At Fleming Roofing and Restoration, we're focused on your needs, whether it's an easy repair or a full roof replacement. Folks around here have trusted Fleming since 1965 for all their residential and commercial roofing needs. And as the area's storm damage experts, Fleming knows all the ins and outs of the insurance claims process. Log on FlemingHSV.com to schedule your free estimate today. Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
No payments for 90 days on 23 and 24 models. Financing as low as 0% and the best deals of the year on America's best-selling truck for 47 years in a row. Hi folks, Bobby White back again for Woody Anderson Ford, and I'm here to tell you it's Truck Month. The best deals on F-150, Explorer, Bronco, Edge, Bronco Sport, and Escape. During Truck Month, get financing as low as 1.9% for up to 72 months on 2023 F-150 Crew Cabs, and lease payments as low as $375 a month. That's a 36-month lease with $62.82 due at signing, 0 security deposit, just tax tag title, and your good credit. Offer ends 4/2/24. Call 539-9441 for complete details. At Woody Anderson Ford, we have over 40 Bronco Sports and nearly 50 Explorers and about a dozen full-size Broncos, all with great sales incentives and no payment for 90 days. Truck Month only happens once a year. Woody Anderson Ford, hope to see you soon.
The kitchen is the heart of any home. It's where the family gathers. It's where kids discover old recipes and make them their own. Just starting out or just now getting started on the dream kitchen you've always wanted?
I'm Chris Haygood, and from all of us here at Bob Wallace Appliance to the home builders and the homeowners of the Huntsville area, a heartfelt thank you for buying local. We're in Huntsville, Florence, and Coleman, and online at bobwallaceappliance.com.
The state's largest orthopedic group is growing to meet the needs of the patients in our community. The Orthopedic Center has long been the most trusted name in orthopedics in North Alabama. So as our area continues on the fast track, so does the need for premier orthopedic care anywhere and anytime you need it. TOC is proud to announce the opening of our new locations in Albertville and Hampton Cove, along with the grand opening of our newest office in Decatur. These clinics will offer the same high-quality orthopedic care you have come to associate with TOC, with the convenience of being closer to home. As a patient, your time is your most most precious asset, and we recognize that at TOC. That's why we are also proud to announce the opening of our urgent ortho clinics to handle those bumps and bruises that need prompt attention. These clinics are available to care for acute orthopedic injuries with no appointment necessary. With 38 physicians, 20 centers of excellence, and now more than a dozen locations to serve you, TOC will continue to be the name you turn to for the best orthopedic care at the right time. Visit our website at visittoc.com for more information. TOC, helping you live a better life.
What if I told you that Bigfoot is real and that he's making the best donuts you've ever had? Come see for yourself at Bigfoot's Little Donuts. Come in and order from over 50 flavors, all made hot and delicious. Ranked in the top 100 donut shops in the nation by Yelp. Bigfoot Little Donuts. Order in store or online at bigfootslittledonuts.com for pickup or delivery from Grub South or DoorDash. South Parkway, Huntsville, and County Line Road, Madison. Bigfoot's Little Donuts.
From heirloom diamonds to contemporary jewels, Loring & Company is the place to find something truly special. Whether shopping for a diamond ring for that once-in-a-lifetime occasion or marking a milestone birthday or personal achievement with a Rolex watch, you'll find just the thing in our edit of the world's most sought-after brands, including David Yurman, Roberto Coin, Marco Bicego, and Fopay. Expect a treasure trove of the world's most unique, even breathtaking earrings, rings, necklaces, and bracelets, making choosing just one piece a challenge in itself. Loring & Company Jewelers on Airport Road.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. We're talking about the chance for strong and severe thunderstorms this afternoon across North Alabama, southern and middle Tennessee. Looks like this activity is going to move in after the lunch hour, and it's going to stick with us across the Tennessee Valley until we head into the middle and later part of the evening. Gusty winds in excess of 60 or 70 miles per hour, and large hail looks like it's going to be the primary concern across the Tennessee Valley Tuesday afternoon. There is an isolated tornado threat as well. Temperatures climbing into the mid and upper 70s. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio.
We cover all the SEC schools, including Western Union and Venmo.
I want that money!
You know, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Jolene, I'm wanting you, don't come for my man. Jolene, don't take the chance because you think you can.
That's Beyonce? Not bad, really. How is she getting that warble? She's getting that Dolly Parton warble in her voice. How does she do that?
I don't know.
She's like really covering it. She's not doing a cover. She's doing like a... Did she wear like a big blonde wig when she did it?
No, but it does have Dolly Parton at the beginning of the song, and then it's like it's got her sound at the beginning of it, and then it changes to her singing at the beginning.
Wait a minute. So what are you saying? At the video?
Yeah, in the video.
So who was at the very beginning of what you just played?
That was her. That was playing.
Who's her? Beyonce?
Beyonce.
So that was Beyonce.
Yeah, I skipped the part where it was like it was Dolly talking or whatever.
When she does, so Dolly gave her blessing on this. What kind of music does Beyonce do? Is she normally do? Would you call it hip hop, or does she do a rap, or does she?
I think there's hip hop, and then she does sometimes like collab with a rapper or collab with somebody that does rapping or something like that. I would say it
didn't sound bad. I will say it didn't sound bad, but it sounded. I mean, she had the warble.
Mm-hmm. I don't know where you got that. If that's like a setting in the board, you know what I mean. If that's like an audio.
That's Dolly's voice. Yeah. Dolly has that in all her stuff. Yeah. But that is. I mean, you know,
maybe she can practice it to the point where she's like, you know.
I don't know that. I mean, I guess you could do that with your voice. I mean, it's a voice talent.
I mean, that's why they're professionals in a sense.
So they finally figured out the difference in the distances in Portland on the 3-point lines for the Western Regional out there.
Yeah.
And they got that fixed. It was good of them to fix that. It's like they didn't even care.
You know what's crazy? It's like, remember in 2020 when they kind of just like crapped on the women's tournament, and then that one Oregon player made this big uproar, and then they're like, we got to change everything about women's college basketball.
Like they didn't have as good a locker room. They didn't have a good place to work out.
They were playing
Nobody cared.
in a facility.
So what did they do? They go out to Portland to play in a deal, and they just screw up the lines on the court. So the one end, the 3-point line at one end was 9 inches, not a couple of inches. Not 1 inch, inch and a half difference. And oh, my gosh. So, if you look really close, you can see it was 9 inches different. 9 inches. I mean, we're talking about 3/4 of a foot difference. It was just like, okay, we'll put a line at this end. Let's just put a line over here at this end. And I didn't see any of the late games, so I don't know. How did they fix it? Did they just fix it with tape?
I think they just – I thought
because
they said they
the court was all different color. No. They changed it for –
Well, maybe they changed it, but they didn't want to delay it, but they allowed to play. Yeah.
The night they figured it out, after they had played 2 games already.
Yeah.
Then when they figured it out in that game with the Texas and stuff, they said, well, all right, fine, we'll just play it. And the thing is, the girls shot better at the standard end than they did at the short 3-point end. It was 39% making threes.
They're used to it, yeah.
At the longer distance, and which was the standard difference. And then the short 3-point shot they were like 22%. So they were kind of used to it being where it needed to be. So, if they were stepping up to that 3-point line, they were like hitting the backboard, hitting the iron and so on. So, but it was 9 inches difference. Now they changed it for last night. What I'm wondering, and what it was, Grizz, it was one of them courts where inside the 3-point arc was a different color stain on the court. The court was light and then dark. So it wasn't like as easy as you could just put a stripe down, I didn't watch any of that game. I'll be honest with you.
I didn't really watch any either. I just heard about it when I noticed that happened. I mean, yesterday I didn't even watch the LSU game. I'm sorry. I watched the Rangers and the Rays. No,
Rangers
I watched baseball because it was the only game on. It was the only baseball game on FS1. Yeah.
Well, that's all you can find. I mean, unless you got the MLB.
But here's
app,
the thing:
though,
what happened to Monday Night Baseball on ESPN?
Well, no, ESPN is down to 1 game a week.
Yeah, I know.
No,
that's
2 games a week.
Ridiculous. They used to do that all the time.
ESPN now
6:30 and 9.
No, ESPN has the Sunday night game, and I think 1 game a week Wednesday. I think it's Wednesday. Well, no, but the FS1 picked it up. So there's now you got Monday Night Baseball's on FS1.
Yeah.
So it's still out there. The thing with baseball, you got to have the MLB.
Yeah, but the thing talking about regional, give me back to the days of just being able to turn on TBS and the Braves would be on, or WGN or UPN or whatever would have.
Or Bally, make
Cubs.
it part of my. Bally should be part of my thing.
You got to get DirecTV. That's the thing. DirecTV, I think, has like a crutch over that because you have to, because that's the only thing that really has Bally's. It's got Bally's.
Everybody's got. All
right, but you have to pay
Xfinity has it. No,
right.
you don't. Xfinity.
Well,
it's on the base package for Xfinity and for Comcast. Comcast is Xfinity, but money of the cable companies.
So not the streaming platforms, but the dishes.
The wire.
Yeah.
Remember the wire they used to run to your house?
Yes.
The wired people.
The coax cable.
Yeah, the coaxial. The wired people. They get it as part of their deal, or you pay on YouTube. I paid the extra for sports.
Yeah,
but it's not. They don't offer.
You get Big
no
Ten
matter
Network,
what.
an
I
ACC
get Big
Network.
10, I get it, but I don't. You don't get it.
Yeah.
There's no way to get Bally's on YouTube. You have to buy the app separately, and just have it as an app.
And which sucked too is they took away the MLB Network too, so you don't even get the MLB Network on YouTube. Which is,
I think you get it on the MLB.TV, though.
Yeah.
I think if you have MLB.TV, you can get MLB Network in there with the games. It's got all the games, then it has all the features. I mean, MLB.TV is a good buy if you're a baseball fan. But again, why, if I'm paying for it, why can't I see the Braves? I am paying, and I can't see the Braves.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just ridiculous to me. But anyway, so it turned out the 2 3-point lines were 9 inches difference. 9 inches. It's like some dude just out there like, yeah, we'll put this one here, and then we'll just put this one here. I mean, what is it?
It's like we went to a Trash Pandas game, and the lines are just like completely off. Doesn't matter. Just play the game. We'll be all right.
We're good. We're good. Women's game. We're all right. Brandon is up next. Brandon, welcome to the show. How are you?
What kind of feedback are you getting on this fabled tale of the Moonshine Tunnel at North Wilkesboro, because it seems to be gaining a lot of traction?
No, we have not mentioned it at all. I don't even know what you're talking about. I mean, I know that you texted it to me, but I don't know anything about the story. What is there? There's a moonshine still underneath the track or something at North Wilkesboro?
They're saying it's a tunnel at North Wilkesboro and something caved in.
Yeah.
And it was always fabled that it was there.
Yeah.
And Dale Earnhardt said one time he hit the wall so hard that he rattled the cooking that was going on underneath the stands.
Yeah.
And people kind of was like, what? And now they're saying it actually exists.
Yeah.
That it's there.
Yeah. Well, I mean, look, NASCAR racing was born out of running moonshine. You know, that's where it came from. So it's not like it would be it's not like it would be hard to believe that back in the day, at North Wilkesboro, one of the old tracks in NASCAR, that there was a still underneath there or something, or a tunnel or something.
According to some of these people, they say it was a massive operation. It was not very small, and they're showing that a sinkhole opened it up. How smooth is that? How smooth is it to have some history like that? And
was it Junior Johnson still? I mean, because that would be the guy. Junior got clipped a few times for running to shine.
It makes you wonder, but if they ever got that track back the way it should be, you could put an underground speakeasy down there, and I'm pretty sure it'd probably make money.
Well, I'm sure it would.
I'm still waiting for like a left field lounge at Trash Pandas, man. They just need a bar out there where people can hang out. They do it at professional games all the time, where you can just hang out at the bar, you can watch the game there, and you can watch the game from outfield.
Right, that's what the Rock.
Well, that's what I'm saying. They need more. Like they need another one.
Well, they got a beer garden
because there's always two. You know what I mean?
They got a beer garden now.
Yeah, that's gonna be kind of cool when they.
So they don't have anything down the left field line.
No, they had that little area that has they have the inflatables and stuff that they've added for the Toyota area, but they still have that little Slim Chickens building, which is just basically where you can get drinks and beer, like a couple of beers.
Chris wants to get hammered at a game.
That's just one like they have it at big games where it's like an actual feel. Like you can go. It's like basically you're going to a bar in another city, basically. You know what I mean? But it's like it's tied to its own self.
Yeah.
Well, this weekend, Friday, we're going to load up on the plane, head back out to ski country in Colorado. I'm going to let my son mush the dogs. They have dog sledding out there.
This time of year?
We've signed up. Yeah, it's still below freezing and snowing at 12,000 feet.
Wow.
So we're going to do that. And then we're going to try some ice fishing out in front of Mount Massive.
Mm-hmm.
So
that's
never
cool.
done that before.
Ice fishing?
Yeah.
Yeah, I lived on a lake that there was a ton of ice fishing on, Canisius Lake in upstate New York, and I never did it. I there was just nothing appealing about that for me. To go sit out there on the ice and sit over a hole and mush the slush out of the hole so that I could pull a bluegill through the hole in the ice and throw it in a bucket. It never appealed to me, not even one bit, a little bit, not even a little bit.
Well, at least you can't run out of gas doing it.
My buddy, there's a pro, Adam Rasmussen, who was on Bassmaster Radio last week. He is ice fishing guide up on Sheboygan. No, what's that bay that's north of Green Bay? I mean, way the hell up there in Wisconsin. What do they call that bay up there? Badger Larry would know. Anyway,
far from me.
It's up north of Green Bay, not Sheboygan. It's I forget the name of the bay now. Anyway, he's an ice fishing guide up there. He says they haven't had ice for 2 years. Can you imagine that? Northern Wisconsin. He said they have not had ice in 2 years up there. Maybe there's something to this whole global warming thing.
That's
global
that's definitely
heating.
Strange.
Global heating.
And I did watch a little USFL, and it was on the TV.
UFL.
And UFL, excuse me. And I did watch it, and was specifically watching for the returns. I was kind of watching to see how it was going to go, and I think it went okay.
No, yeah, but that's not what you're looking at. There is not what the NFL is going to do. What you were looking at they're kicking off from the 20. They're doing a regular kickoff, but they kick from the 20. So you get a lot of returns. You get an average return comes out to almost to the 40-yard line. The NFL is using the old XFL rule, which, interestingly enough, the UFL abandoned. So they're going to kick off from the 35. I still think we're going to get a ton of touchbacks.
Okay, I was wondering. I was thinking you had said the 30, so I'm like, okay, if they're kicking from the 20, NFL is going to do the 30. It's going to be pretty – I thought it would be pretty tight as far as what they're doing. But I was watching that trying to figure out what I thought it was going to look like.
Yeah,
so,
they had some guy named Destroyer kicking off that is a YouTube sensation. And he was a kicker as well, and he won the kicking job for one of the teams. I forget which team. Oh, the Brahmas. He's on the San Antonio Brahmas.
Yeah, he's a YouTuber that goes around and
Destroyers.
Yeah, he's a YouTuber
that
he goes around and he goes to like camps and stuff.
Yeah.
He's just a kicker. He's like a former player that I think he's like a YouTube sensation that he's pretty quick and he can kick, but he's
Thanks for the call, Brandon.
average player.
Let me try and knock these other guys out. Keith, the Michigan fan. Keith, welcome to the show. How are you?
Doing all right, big dog. How about you?
Fantastic.
Hey, last week you were giving Wolverine Dan a hard time saying that Michigan has just one more national title than Alabama. This is Alabama's first time making it to the Final Four. Am I correct?
That's correct.
Yeah. Michigan's been there 8 times.
And only won one. So, no.
Well, yes. That tells you how hard it is.
Yeah.
Remember, UCLA with John Wooden, how many did he win? I think he won 60-something games in a row.
Yeah, he won 10, and he won, it might have been 88 games in a row. So I want to
Yeah, I know.
Notre Dame was on both
that.
sides of it. I know Notre Dame was the last team to beat them. I think they won 88 in a row, Grizz. UCLA win streak, 88 in a row, and then Notre Dame beat them again and ended it. They were both ends of the deal. 88, Grizz, am I right? See, I'm a professional at this, Keith. I know these things.
I knew it was more than – that's one record that I don't think was going to ever be beat.
No, not 80. No, not anymore. Not in this day and age. Not with the depth there is.
No,
I just tweaking him. I know Michigan's a good basketball school.
Oh, well, no, actually Michigan State has won 6 national titles.
Yeah.
So,
the only other team to make it to the playoffs, too, in football and basketball, too, was Michigan State, too, because they did it in 2015 as well. They made it to the Final Four, I believe, in basketball.
So they're the only team to make it to the
Other than
Final
Alabama.
Four.
Yeah.
In both football,
and
basketball. Well, what about like when Florida was winning national championships in both at the
Because
same
that was
year?
2005, 2006, so
6 and
BCS.
7.
Yeah.
Oh, so we're not counting
It
that?
doesn't count. It doesn't
You're saying
count.
you're just in the short run of the final.
in the short
four.
one of a Final Four. Yeah.
Well, they made the final 2. I mean, Florida. Florida was winning. Billy Donovan won back-to-back. Football team was winning. Yeah.
What was the year UConn women and men won?
I said that in the
Was
open.
that-
I know you don't listen.
Well, I was on the phone.
2004
Yeah.
and 2014.
That's right.
And now this is 2024.
Right.
Think about
10
that.
yeah, the
if
10
you're into the numerology, the UConn women are going to have a problem.
Alabama's men's going to have a problem.
Oh, yeah.
Have you ever seen a 30-0 run in a championship series?
No.
And what
crazy.
UConn did, that's unbelievable.
Yeah, they're out of their gourd right now. They're out of their mind. But, they lost some games this year that they shouldn't have lost. So, the way they're playing right now, they look unstoppable. But I tell you what, I don't know if I'm laying 11.5 points, though. Well, that's a lot. That's a lot of wood.
Yes, it is. So. But, hey, they were, people were talking about Beyonce singing Dolly Parton.
Yeah.
I remember back in the 90s, I was listening to the radio at work, and I heard Dolly Parton singing Smokey Robinson's Tears of a Clown.
Oh, yeah.
It shocked me.
Yeah.
But, people don't understand music. What caused all this was somebody called a country station and asked them to play Beyonce, and they said no, they wasn't playing no Beyonce. Music is music.
Well, yeah, but, you want to stay within your genre. It'd be like calling us and say, hey, put Fox News on.
But they asked for her country song.
Oh, they're playing her country song. The country stations are playing her country song, yeah.
They are now, but when she first, as they say today, dropped it, some country stations wouldn't play it.
Yeah,
but now they are.
Yeah, I don't know why they wouldn't. But, All right, appreciate the call. It's a good job by Yuki. All right, let's get a break in here. We will come back and wrap up hour number 1 next, 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Hey, pet parents. With Progressive's collision coverage, you get extra protection for your cat or dog, because there's nothing worse than seeing your pet hurt. Like when you see their face after accidentally stepping on their tail, and you say, "I'm so sorry, Mr. Pickles." But as you kiss his nose and rub his little belly welly, you know Mr. Pickles is thinking, "You betrayed me." Anywho, Progressive pays up to $1,000 in vet bills if your pet is injured in an auto accident. Learn more at Progressive.com and watch where you step. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Collision coverage subject to policy terms. Not available in all states.
SportsMed is the official team physicians of the Rocket City Trash Pandas. And if the pros trust SportsMed, you can too. SportsMed provides every service you might need for complete orthopedic care, specializing in orthopedic surgery, sports medicine, joint replacement, spine surgery, neurosurgery, and podiatry. And they offer their own brace shop, in-house full-body MRI, physical therapy, walk-in clinic, and so much more. 4 locations and on the web at sportsmedalabama.com.
You've got to experience Toyotathon at Bill Penny Toyota. They've got the selection with over 700 new Toyotas to choose from. And they've got the extras with Bill Penny perks and a 10-year unlimited warranty. So get on over to Bill Penny Toyota today and experience Toyotathon. Bill Penny Toyota in Huntsville and online at BillPennyToyota.com. Bill Penny's Toyota 10-year unlimited warranty is valid through the 10th year of ownership. Valid on new vehicles only. See dealer for details.
Looking for your next game day party destination? Well, think outside the box and kick back at Flow Supreme Air. And you may be thinking, isn't that the trampoline place? Of course it is. But it's also the one-stop spot for all things fun. And if kicking back with the boys to watch the game is your jam, then you're in the right spot. Jump or not, Flow tends to all ages, meaning while you sit back and watch the game, but little Jimmy's having the time of his life perfecting that front flip he most definitely wants to show you. You got this, Jimmy. So next time you think Flow, think fun for everyone.
Follow us on Twitter. Subscribe to us on our YouTube channel and Twitch. Just search 97.7 ESPN. We are 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
So we got the Bold and the Beautiful on in the studio. God knows why, but it is. We have ESPN on as well, but underneath
it's on
it
19
is,
or
yeah, it's on
it is.
19. So we got daytime porn on with the Bold and the Beautiful, and there's an actor on there, and I'm like, that guy looks so familiar, and I'm like, who is this actor on the Bold and the Beautiful? It's the guy from the Liberty Mutual commercial, the guy that does Liberty Bibbity.
Yeah.
Liberty Bibbity. They want to keep screwing it up and everything. That guy is a soap opera actor. He's a soap opera
It's
star.
kind of crazy when you do check some commercials like Geico or whatever, and you see former like child actors or actors I've seen in other movies before.
Yeah, well, you see guys, but you see people.
Commercial.
We're seeing some famous people like LL Cool J is in that.
But it's like B-list and C-list actors
yeah.
that you see sometimes too in
That's
these.
nuts. And there's Danica Patrick on an endurance commercial. All right. By the way, that segment was brought to you by Woody Anderson Ford and the Service Department at Woody Anderson Ford. It's the only place I've gone for 20 years is Woody Anderson Ford. They are the experts in the service of Ford and other makes. They use genuine Ford and Motorcraft parts on every Ford service job, and they do it all down there. Don't forget the body shop as well at Woody Anderson Ford is outstanding, and the certified gold pre-owned vehicles, that's where I get all of mine. The corner of Sparkman and Jordan Lane, it's Woody Anderson Ford, the only place I have gone to in the Valley since 2004. All right, coming up, David Moulton will join us, and we will talk about a little bit of everything, including we're down to the final, the best college football stadium in the country, and we'll tell you who the 2 finalists are in that fan vote next to here on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
97.7 ESPN The Zone.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. ESPN's Adam Schefter's reporting. Iowa defensive back Cooper DeJean, one of the top defensive prospects in this month's NFL draft, sent a letter to all NFL teams recently informing them he's been cleared to return to all football activities. DeJean, who fractured his fibula in November, will hold an individual workout next Monday at Iowa, do all the on-field testings and position work without any restrictions. Trent Perry, a McDonald's All-American and number 26 prospect in the 2024 class, decommitting from USC after coach Andy Enfield left to take the job at SMU. Vikings offensive coordinator Wes Phillips will miss a key part of draft prep as the team pursues its next quarterback. Vikings suspended him for 3 weeks after the legal resolution of a 2023 traffic stop in Minneapolis, one during which he showed signs of impairment and his blood alcohol content tested above the legal limit in Minnesota.
WZZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
The new favorite place for delicious Mexican food is Coralejos Mexican Grill in Huntsville. Check out their reviews on Facebook and you'll see what people are raving about. Enjoy drink specials all day Monday through Thursday, like house margaritas for $3.99 and 12-ounce drafts for $2. Even vegan-friendly entrees on Monday starting at $5. Coralejos Mexican Grill, 1658 Old Monrovia Road in Huntsville. Follow them on Facebook and Instagram to stay updated on their specials.
Thom Luganbill here for my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, check out the gold certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman or at Woody Anderson of Madison on Hughes Road, or visit WoodyAndersonFord.com.
Our customers want best-in-class solutions. That's why we've recently added many new vendors like Zebra barcode printers. Our next level team has added premier automation solutions. We're not here to sell you just one product, and we love helping you find the right solution to your specific needs. That's what doing the right thing is all about, and that's why our customers have come back for over 50 years.
For the first time ever,
Roll Tide!
The Tide are rolling to the Final Four.
Oh, yeah!
It's the Crimson Tide and the Yukon Huskies, live from State Farm Stadium in Glendale, Arizona.
And let's get out of here and go to the Final Four!
Tune in this Saturday for this historic game. Our coverage begins at 6:30 on your home for Alabama basketball. The Crimson Tide Sports Network from Learfield.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Dorton Dressman. We're talking about the chance for strong and severe thunderstorms this afternoon across North Alabama, southern Middle Tennessee. Looks like this activity is going to move in after the lunch hour, and it's going to stick with us across the Tennessee Valley until we head into the middle and later part of the evening. Gusty winds in excess of 60 or 70 miles per hour, and large hail looks like it's going to be the primary concern across the Tennessee Valley Tuesday afternoon. There is an isolated tornado threat as well. Temperatures climbing into the mid and upper 70s. I'm Chief Meteorologist Dorton Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio.
College football.
The ball is caught! It is a touchdown!
Major League Baseball.
That ball is gone! A home run!
This is your place for complete sports coverage all year long. 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You need to be more like a dog.
Like what you guys are doing. You've got your fingertip on the pulse of your listeners. You guys know what they're talking about.
Be a dog.
God bless the show. You are the Messiah.
We need more dogs.
This is the best show on radio.
The big dog, Thom Abraham, is here with you.
Hey, I see you, dog.
So settle in and get your bark on.
That's my dog!
Now live, here he is, the big dog.
Let's go, baby!
Thom Abraham.
How you doing? 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 How you doing?
Look, I don't speak Spanish.
I don't know how to say this, so I'm going to choose my words very carefully. I think you're a psycho.
Do you know who I am?
I mean, that guy sounds like El McPherson farting into Miles Davis' trumpet.
I guess I'm on here. Am I on? Can somebody respond? Get off my lawn.
I have to drag my Yankee ass out of here.
Now, welcome back. Hour number 2 of the Thom Abraham Show. This segment of the show is brought to you by North Alabama Mortgage. Whether you're in Tennessee or Florida or Alabama, it is North Alabama Mortgage. They have you covered for all your mortgage needs. Get a home valuation. See what you can do by refinancing now. Rates are coming down. They'll continue to come down. Don't waste time. Go ahead and get refinanced. You can always refinance once again once the rates hit rock bottom, whatever you think rock bottom is. And don't put off that new purchase of a home as well, because when those rates do hit rock bottom, the prices go up. It's always that way. So buy now, get the best price, and then refi when the rates drop. Go to NorthAlabamaMortgage.com to learn more. It's North Alabama Mortgage. They can get you hooked up as well. All right, a couple of things. The guy that manages the UFL Twitter page at the UFL, he actually responded to my complaint. If you missed it earlier, I'm just bitching about everything. All right, no, we are not at Baumhauer's today. We are not at Toyota Field today where we were supposed to be for Media Day due to inclement weather. They backed that up a day. So we are actually in this thing called studio. All right, I'm doing a remote from the studio, basically, today. So that's what's going on today. And I just saw on one of the TVs here, they have the feed of the show up, Grizz, and there's an old guy with a white beard hosting my show today. What's going on with that? Who's that?
Who's that guy?
Oh, my gosh. I just saw that. I'm like, goodness gracious almighty. Who's the old dude? Anyway, the guy from the UFL Twitter page responded to my bitching and moaning about the fact that when you, on Twitter, for example, when you go to at the UFL or at UFL or at the UFL, it redirects you to at XFL 2023. And I'm like, come on now. You want us to care? Do you care enough to change your handle?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Why is it at?
Take the time to change, yeah.
He says he can confirm that they are working to fix it so that they can own the account name. They are not ignoring it. Apparently somebody has bought it and is trying to retire basically on the name. But there's got to be a way. I mean, at the UFL
it's
football,
like the Cleveland Guardians all over again, where the Cleveland Guardians had it was like a roller derby league had the name on the website or something like that before the Guardians could get it.
And Jason in Noonan also says he's feeling my pain about being blacked out of baseball teams that are 200 miles or 360 miles from my front porch, which is a problem. So I'm trying to get all my belly aching out of the way. All right. Do we have Moulton yet or not? Are we good to go? All right. Moulton's ready? All right. Moulton's ready. Let's get him in here. He's on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. He's on WZZN TV, and he joins me side by each now for those of you that are watching. David, welcome to the show. How are you?
I'm good, Tom. Can you hear me?
I can hear you wonderfully. You sound like you're sitting right next to me, although I did see the feed of the show. And I was startled because there's an old guy with a white beard that's sitting in for me today, apparently.
Oh, I thought you were talking about me.
No, talking about the host. So it's just kind of weird, man. You and I are both big fans of spring football leagues. We really are. I mean, I'm not even saying that facetiously at all. They're doing a great disservice to the listeners by not putting the games on radio locally. They are doing a simulcast of the TV on Sirius XM, which sounds like a simulcast of TV. So I hate that. But having said that, I'm glad we got it. But it occurred to me the attendance was down from last year, and I'm sure the ratings are going to be a little bit lower than they were last year at the beginning of the year. But you're starting your season on Sweet 16 weekend, Major League Baseball opening weekend, and Easter weekend, playing on Easter Saturday, Easter Sunday. I much prefer the schedule that started 2 weeks or so after the Super Bowl, while our juices are still flowing, and then you play your championship game in mid-May instead of mid-June in the middle of the NBA Finals and the Stanley Cup Finals. What's your take on it?
Yeah, I'm the other way. And I agree with you. You should do it one of two ways. The starting in the middle is stupid. Either you start the weekend after the Super Bowl and you use Super Bowl weekend to somehow get the word out that, hey, football continues this next week, blah, blah, blah. Or you start the Saturday after the draft, the day 3 of the draft, and then you play your games that night. And you use the draft. I mean, ESPN's one of your broadcast partners. You use ABC, ESPN that Thursday, Friday, and Saturday to promote, hey. And I actually like starting late April and ending July 4th. Because what is a spring league supposed to be, Tom? It's supposed to be when people are jonesing for football, and they don't have any. That's when there needs to be a spring football league. Well, that's right after the draft, to me.
Yeah, I think it's right after the NFL, and I'd have my championship game in mid-May when you own that time, because by then baseball's underway, and nobody's really, it's not going to be a big deal. And it's
the problem that I see is that the leagues go away in March. This whole March Madness thing takes control of the month, and then at the end of the month you do baseball, and so to me, I always thought to start right after the Super Bowl, you get 2-3 weeks, and then you literally go away for 3 to 4 weeks. And so that's why I'm like, listen, I'm going to do it because also what is a spring football league? I'm jonesing for football. Well, if
Yeah.
you're jonesing for football, then you're not going to put the hockey or the basketball ahead of it. And also, most hockey and basketball takes place at night, and in theory, you're going to play in the afternoon.
Yeah, when we're out on the lake, fishing and stuff like that. So I don't like that either. But don't you want to get them in camp, though? I mean, I thought the idea.
Who cares, Tom?
Well, no, I mean, you're going to look, the guy who was the Pro Bowl return man, the Turpin kid from Dallas, came right off the roster of the Birmingham Stallions. The kicker for Dallas that set the league on fire last year and was a Pro Bowler was the kicker for the Birmingham Stallions.
No.
I want to get these kids in camp, in the NFL camp.
Why can't they go? Let's just say championship weekend, July 4th weekend. Camp's no start for 3 weeks.
Yeah, so the mini camps and stuff.
Why can't the kid go from the end of the season to camp?
Yeah. Okay. The other reason I think they might, this guy who answered me from the UFL, because I complained about that too, because I was just in a complaining mood.
No.
Yeah. What he told me was it took a long time to get the merger done, or what he said on the social. He says it took a long time to get the merger done, and it kind of backed up the start of the league, and he thinks they may go back to the XFL schedule, which was the one that started right after the Super Bowl. Because I do think I think, too, if you want to utilize, and if you ever can get to the point where you can make a deal with the NFLPA to use the back end of the rosters in the NFL and get these guys some reps, the third, fourth quarterbacks and so on, to get these guys reps, the time to do that is February, March, and April, so that they're ready to go for mini camps in, May, June, July, and you're signing guys and everything else. So,
yeah, I have a hard time believing that the NFL and the NFLPA, but especially the NFL, is ever going to officially, become a part of one of these leagues, if you know what I mean. I think they'll pretend, and they'll use the league to try out new rule changes and things of that nature, maybe also to train would-be officials, but I don't think they want their players getting hurt, if you know what I mean.
Yeah,
I don't.
But if
and
you're
also,
talking about that guy between 53 and 80, those free agents and those guys that are,
but you mentioned quarterbacks, though. Okay,
what about a third or fourth quarterback that never takes a snap? I want to see if the kid can play.
But they're developmental quarterbacks, and then if each team is sending. We've got 8 teams in the UFL. We got 4 times that many in the NFL. I mean, what if they want to send more than 8 quarterbacks? Who plays?
Yeah. Well, that's what they did with the World League. You remember back in the day, each World League team had 4 NFL teams, and they actually put the logo of the NFL team that they were under contract to on the helmet, which I thought was cool. So you knew, that guy's a Brown, or that guy's a Patriot, or that guy's a Giant.
Well, and that's because the league was an official part of it, but they, each team lost 8 figures on the World League, and that's why it went away.
Yeah, I hope this doesn't go away, but I know the numbers were down a little bit. Maybe the 2-league thing was, you had unique fans of the XFL or the USFL, and now that it's all together as the UFL, I don't know, maybe it's some way to less interest. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see with the TV ratings, because that's what drives the bus.
Tom, the other thing to be prepared for is the NFL is going to go to 18 games here soon. Yeah. So the season's going to get 1 to 2 weeks longer, because with an 18th game, the union may get a second bye week, which we actually had for one season, I believe, in the late 80s or sometime in the 90s. We actually had 2 bye weeks during the season.
Yeah.
And so if the NFL season is going to go to President's Day weekend, or maybe even till the end of February, I mean, when do you think the spring league is going to start?
Yeah, that's a great point. David Moulton with us here. Now, David and I were connected, David much longer than me, but we were connected to you, FGCU back in the day. David was the voice of FGCU sports and basketball for years and years. And so this is a topic that I'm just going to throw in there because we had that connection. Chris Sale, first of all, we both watched Chris Sale develop at FGCU and go on, and has had a great baseball career so far, but he hasn't been able to pitch hardly at all the last couple of years. He's now an Atlanta Brave. I don't think he'll pitch until they get back home to start their home season. What can fans expect, though, out of Chris Sale? Is there anything left in the tank for a 34-year-old Chris Sale?
It's all about if he's healthy. I mean, this is the first spring training that he has been, quote, healthy for in 5 years. And so, yeah, and the funny thing is now everybody looks at Chris Sale as damaged goods. When he came out of FGCU, he pitched 8 years without an injury of any kind.
Yeah.
And not all these injuries have been arm injuries. He's had a rib injury, then he got COVID. I mean, he's had a little bit of bad luck to go with 1 or 2 major injuries. But, Chris Sale was the best competitor that I ever saw of a college baseball player. I mean, he really was.
Yeah.
And, he's the same age as Jacob deGrom, if not a year younger, because they pitched against one another in college.
Right.
So if deGrom gets healthy, how many years do you think he has left? I mean, they got Sale for October. Let's be honest. They got Sale to pitch once or twice against the Phillies.
Yeah.
And to get Muncy and Freeman and, out for the Dodgers.
Yeah, and it's
along with that high-paid Japanese guy.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't know how I feel. I got mixed feelings. I am a seam head. I like my nightly baseball, and I love when my team is playing well. And I kind of had this question last week: is that would you rather have a 100-win team where you can get 6 months of enjoyment out of your team winning, 2 out of every 3 games they play, or would you rather get hot for 3 weeks and win the World Series? And, as an 84 or 85 or 86 win team, which is what we seem to be seeing a lot. All the 100-win teams last year got bounced in the first round of the playoffs. A couple of years ago, the Yankees had 100 wins and didn't get through the ALCS. It definitely has changed things. This 7 playoff team thing has kind of changed the way we view it. And like I said, I dig the nightly deal. I'm watching a little bit of Yankees every single night, and if they're on the West Coast like they are right now, I get to watch the whole game when my wife falls asleep. But it is kind of funny now that everything is geared towards that 3 or 4 weeks in October and into November, and that's all that matters. Just get there. Win 84 games and get there, right?
Well, I mean, Tom, we've always been a society that values the parade over anything else. Remember for the longest time, the Marlins had 2 World Series titles and the Braves had 1. Yet the Braves every year for 30 years contended, and the Marlins had like 5 winning seasons. But the 2 times they made the playoffs, they won the World Series. I mean, we used to ask, which would you rather be, the Braves or the Marlins?
But the Marlins weren't winning a bunch of games.
Only won.
Yeah. I guess here's the better way if you're from a Braves standpoint. Would you rather have the Braves season when they won 84 games? Would they win, Grizz, when they won the World Series? 88 maybe? 84, 85 games, something like that. They traded everybody.
Well, right.
Got a bunch of guys.
No, we all know the worst Braves team in the last 4 years is the one that won the World Series.
Yeah.
Right.
Would you rather have that, or would you rather have last year get 6 months of enjoyment and, oh, damn, the Phillies took you out in the first round? 88 games. So they won 88 games. Last year they won 104 games, and they don't go anywhere. It sounds so anti-American. I almost would take the 6 months. It sounds like soccer, like the EPL or whatever they call it, the Premier League or
English
whatever.
Premier League.
English Premier League. I would almost take the 6 months of enjoyment over the 3 or 4 weeks during a football season and winning the World Series.
Well, you go back to the Cardinals with La Russa in the 2000s, in 04 and 05. I mean, the 04 team won like 104 games, get swept in the World Series. The 05 team won over 100 games, lost in the LCS. The 06 team won like 83 games and won the World Series.
Yeah, it's a great point. Great point. David Moulton with us here. All right, we have gotten to the final of our greatest college football stadium in America. You have been to all 4 of the venues that made the Final Four. Beaver Stadium, a lot of this has got to do with the fan base, right? Because the fan base, anytime we can't even put up a college football poll because it's just hijacked by Alabama fan or Auburn fan or Tennessee, whoever we're talking about. But Beaver Stadium, which you seem to be very fond of, Beaver Stadium edged out the Rose Bowl in one semifinal, and in the other semifinal, Tiger Stadium, in LSU's Tiger Stadium, the real Tiger Stadium, that edged out Neyland Stadium. So what do you think about that, about Tiger Stadium over Neyland Stadium and Beaver Stadium over the Rose Bowl?
Well, it's interesting, having been to all of them. I mean, I know one of the 3 or 4 criteria is atmosphere.
Yeah. And
believe it or not, the Rose Bowl has the worst atmosphere of the 4. Now, it's gorgeous. absolutely gorgeous. The most beautiful of the four stadiums, even though it's the oldest. When you walk inside, you're like, oh my goodness, this is amazing. All right. But in terms of atmosphere, I mean, I'll say it again. There's nothing like a Saturday night in Death Valley.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Yeah.
There just isn't. So it depends on how important atmosphere is into this equation.
Atmosphere, noise, pregame atmosphere.
Well, then it's Saturday night in Death Valley. It just is.
Yeah. And they start early. If they get the dreaded, very rarely do they get the dreaded 11 a.m. game. But if they do get the dreaded 11 a.m. game, they're out there at 5 in the morning with their beer and with their with the shrimp or what those things are, and making the etouffee and those crawfish that they eat, the bait and all that stuff that they eat. They're doing that. They got the smoker going at 5 o'clock in the morning if they got an 11 o'clock game.
Thom, one of the funniest reactions that I remember being on the road was flying into the Baton Rouge airport and going to the rental car counter to pick up the car. And they were having trouble finding my reservation. And then I said, I'm with CBS, figuring that we reserved a bunch of cars and they'd know where to look. And the lady just turns and looks at me and goes, oh. And I said, is there a problem? She goes, yeah, you're the reason we're playing at 2:30.
Yeah.
We don't like to play at 2:30.
Yeah.
And she handed me the keys as if to say, and don't ever come back here again.
Yeah, and I have a theory about that, about why they want to play at night. When you see that place in the daytime, it is horrifically ugly. I mean, it is had so many additions over the years. Nothing lines up, nothing matches. And then you also see very graphically the old dorms that used to be under the stadium that look like they got bars on the windows. It looks like a prison, like it used to be a prison. And apparently they built these dorms underneath the grandstands back when they built the grandstands on top of the dorms when they went from 18,000 to 22,000 back in the 30s or something. And but it's kind of scary looking during the day. I mean, it's not a pretty place. I'm going to say that right now.
Well, the other thing is when they used to bring in Mike the Tiger, also Mike didn't like the afternoon games either because that was nap time.
Yeah.
Mike loved the night game because Mike had his big old nap and Mike had eaten dinner. And then they'd put Mike in the carriage there and put the cheerleaders on top and they'd wheel him into the stadium and Mike would just pace uncontrollably. And you're like, oh my goodness, we're in the Roman Coliseum. They're going to set him loose and kill me. I mean, so Mike didn't like the day games either.
20 years here. And there's only one place I haven't been to in the SEC in terms of, taking in some of the pregame atmosphere and so on. And that, unfortunately, is the Grove, believe it or not. Even when we were doing a game day tailgate show and I was hosting that, we always did it off campus. I never did it from the Grove. And I hear that is just an absolutely spectacular atmosphere. But at LSU, I mean, they got the bicycle taverns going, and they'll have bands that come down, and everybody's into purple and gold in their costumes, and it's like Mardi Gras before a game. I mean, it's absolutely amazing what's going on out there before a game.
And also, I've never been to a place that has more people show up for the weekend, pay for the hotel, the whole deal, don't have tickets to the game, and have no intention of getting tickets to the game.
Yeah, no, they will.
They just want to be in town and in amongst their friends and party for the game. And they're literally sitting in the parking lot or just off the parking lot. And they got their TV set up and they're watching the game. And then they're listening to the noise come from the stadium.
Yeah. Well, you get that in Tuscaloosa and in Auburn as well.
But not to the extent. I mean, I've seen 25,000 people that don't have tickets go to the game.
You remember Kick 6? It was right after they had opened up the Auburn Arena, is what it was called at the time, now Neville Arena there, and that was full because my wife and kids were in there watching the Kick 6 Iron Bowl in the arena, and they had 12,000 people or 10,000, however many it holds. They had that place packed out because those people were pouring out of the Neville Arena, that Auburn Arena at that time. They were pouring out of the arena and into the stadium after Kick 6 and right onto the field. And because I remember vividly when I was leaving the stadium, people pouring in as I was trying to get out of the stadium. David Moulton with us here. Now, here's a bit of a minutia, David, which you may or may not know. Very rarely do I know anything that you don't know, but I'm going to throw this one out there at you. Do you know that originally Tiger Stadium, it was originally glossed Death Valley, as in DEAF, Death Valley, because it was so loud. And the fans would say you go deaf when you go to a game there, and they called it Death Valley. And then ultimately it was changed then to Death Valley, and then, of course, that created a controversy with the folks at Clemson, with the Death Valley at Clemson as well. But it was originally Death Valley. How about that?
I did not know that. I'm curious, was it Death Valley before or after Billy Cannon's famous punt return?
It actually was a lot later than I thought. It was around the earthquake game, which was like in the 80s. I remember the earthquake game when they beat Alabama.
Was that Tommy Casanova?
You know what? I don't know. I'm not sure now. They beat Bama 7-6, and that was when it showed up it was so loud it showed up on a Richter scale 1,000 feet away. It registered as like a 5.4 earthquake or something, and they call it the earthquake game in history. So if it comes down to it, now I have never been to. I take that back. I've been to Beaver Stadium, but it was a coaching clinic way back in the 90s when I was coaching. It's not easy to get to, right? It's 2.5 hours from Philly. It's 2.5 hours from Pittsburgh. It's kind of in the middle of the state, and it is when you get there, it is really, really cool. Now, this was back during the Paterno days when I was there, but it wasn't there for a game. So if you're pitting the entire atmosphere, game, noise, crowd participation, they do the great whiteout with the students having the S on. Happy Valley versus Death Valley.
Listen, the whiteout is awesome. Was at one last year. I mean, it really is. And I covered Jopa on his great mid-'80s teams. And, I've seen the stadium go from, adding 25, 30,000 seats. I'll just say it again. It's not nothing is Saturday night in Baton Rouge. Nothing.
Yeah. It's interesting, too, because I think Penn State, their record, I'm looking at it right now, their record in whiteout games is 10-8. You would think that they were like undefeated when they have the whiteout. They're 10-8. Now, historically, the whiteout is reserved for Ohio State or Michigan, somebody big that's coming in, so that's their toughest games. They don't do a whiteout when they're playing, McNeese State or something. But 10-8, just barely over 500, one game over 500, the way I figure 500. During
Tom,
whiteout.
Trust me, it was that way with Death Valley on CBS. I mean, the people knew they hadn't won on CBS in a long time. Especially, we would always do the Bama game in prime time. Well, LSU went a long time there where they didn't beat Alabama at home.
Yeah.
I mean, the 2 wins against Bama happened to Bryant-Denny in 2011 and 2019. I mean, they won in 2010 at home, and then they lost heartbreakers every step of the way until 2022.
Yeah. All right. So Alabama joins Michigan as the only schools now to put teams in the Final Four of both the college football playoff and the March Madness. Of course, the Final Four in the college football is only, 9-10 years old, something like that. So there's not a ton of history there, but they do it. And now they have this daunting task of taking on UConn, a game that opened at 9.5 and is now about 11.5, I believe, the last time I saw. Probably going to touch 12 before it gets there. Now, UConn has, earlier in their year, they have a couple of losses. They got smacked by Creighton. It's a good basketball team. They got smacked by Seton Hall, which was not a tournament team. Outside of that, though, they've been pretty damn good down the stretch here. Does Alabama have any shot at all of figuring out a way to beat a UConn team, that features a big man? And that has been, kind of the kryptonite for Alabama.
Well, there's two factors here. UConn until late in the season had that long streak. I think it was 14 years where they had not beaten a ranked team on the road. And so when they lost to Seton Hall and also when they lost to Creighton. Now, I will say the Creighton game is the game, if I'm a Bama fan, I want to look at, because Creighton shot them out of the gym. Creighton got it going. They got the tempo going, and they hit threes. And that's Bama. So to me, Bama needs to recreate what Creighton did. And I think that was mid-February. And no one's been able to do that the last 2 years in the tournament. I mean, not only are they 10-0, all of them by double digits, but no one's scoring against UConn. And clearly, Bama's not going to win a 72-68 game. I mean, if Bama's going to win, they got to get this game up and down. They got to get this game in the 80s. And it's happened once or twice this year, but it hasn't happened in a while, and no one's done it in the last 2 years in the tournament. I mean, Tom, even in the Big East tournament, St. John's lost, but it was 95-90. So it can be done to UConn.
Yeah.
But it's just really difficult.
Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be really difficult. There's no doubt about it. And in the other one, I can't remember a Final Four where both games were basically double-digit, favorites. And, and that's what we're looking at as well in the other game with Purdue and North Carolina. By the way, I don't know if you've seen these national polls that are going on, but North Carolina is the favorite amongst the fans all across the country, people who are independent of any one of the schools. About 38% of the fans are pulling for North Carolina. Of course, the Jimmy
North
V.
Carolina State.
North Carolina State. The
Right.
Jimmy V thing, and it's, since 1983, the ultimate
Well,
underdog. They got the big guy.
Yeah, he's fun.
Yeah, the fun guy. He says they list him as 6'9", 275. That dude's a Twinkie shy of 320 if he's anything. Because I've seen tweet 320, and I know what it looks like, and he's there.
Was it Antonio Gates who never played football in college?
Yeah.
Okay, but was on the San Diego State basketball team. And, I mean, when I see the big fella for NC State, I see an offensive tackle. I see great feet, long arms, and big size. I go, boy, he could be an offensive tackle.
Did Chris, put it in a research machine, did Tony Gonzalez play football? I know he was a basketball player as well in college, but was he also a football player? I think he did both. I think he did do both. So anyway, that's the favorite of the fans. Second is Purdue. Third is UConn. And only 5% of the country's pulling for Alabama. Do they hate Alabama football so much that they don't even like Alabama basketball? I mean, that was surprised. They're such a likable team, really.
I don't think most of the country was aware that Alabama played basketball.
I
think that's what it is. I don't think they know anything about them. They're like, really? Wow, they're good.
You know what they know about them? And I hate to say this because it sounds terrible. It dominated us in the winter last year. They know Brandon Miller, and regardless of what anybody who's closer to the program knows about Brandon Miller and what kind of person he is and all that kind of stuff, they know those headlines. And I wonder if a little bit of it is the Brandon Miller hangover from last year when they were the 1 seed. You know what I mean? And it was a totally different thing. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe not.
I don't know. I think it's because they just don't have much of a basketball tradition and, what have you.
Yeah. Yeah, that certainly could be it. There's no doubt about it. All right. Quick question on one other FGCU thing that nobody else cares about, but maybe you and I. I'm confused. Why does Andy Enfield leave Los Angeles and USC for SMU? I mean, I know it's Dallas. I mean, and it's Texas, which is a better place to be than California. But USC to SMU without getting fired? I mean, what am I missing?
Well, I think what you're missing is that there is concern with those that are not football as to how being in the Big Ten is going to go. From a recruiting standpoint, like are the guys in the West Coast who Andy did a really good job of establishing a SoCal pipeline and getting some, good prospects. I mean, he's put a lot of guys in the NBA in his 11 years, but I think Andy's worried about USC in the Big Ten going forward and whether or not this is going to be a good thing or not. It may work in football, but I know for a fact the basketball, the baseball, and the what have you coaches at USC, UCLA, and the like are concerned about the move. Meanwhile, what conference is SMU going to be in?
The ACC.
Yeah. There you go. And the ACC is what?
Best
basketball.
Generally, usually the best basketball.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I think Andy's like looking ahead, going, not sure. It could be a boon. It could be a bust. Meanwhile, I go to SMU. They're throwing money into the program like crazy. I can recruit there. SMU, listen, when this ACC blows up in the next 3 to 5 years, SMU may be one of the best teams in it.
Good point. And then they can go be in the Big 12 where they should be. All right. Appreciate you as always. David Moulton, soon to be heard on our sister station.
Whatever.
Crossing my fingers.
Some particular point in time, you never know if we can
What's going to happen first? Opening ceremonies of the Olympics or Miller and Moulton debuts in Huntsville?
Oh my gosh, I can't. That would be awful. I mean, we got to get you
money on the Olympics.
We got to get you in before the UFL championship game in June. All right, man. Appreciate you as always. Good stuff.
All right, be good, guys.
All right, we get a break. I don't know what the delay. It's on a tech. This is now beyond David. David and I have completed our negotiations. This is now between Moulton, our Moulton, and their technical people. Right? It's between those people now. Not us anymore. Our negotiations are complete. All right, we get a break. When we return, maybe, is there a chance that Moulton, our Moulton, is queering this whole thing because he wants to be the only Moulton on Huntsville radio? Is there a possibility that Steve Moulton will not allow David Moulton to be on the air in the Tennessee Valley? Is that what's going on? All right, we'll come back. Phone lines are open. 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
The kitchen is the heart of any home. It's where the family gathers. It's where kids discover old recipes and make them their own. Just starting out or just now getting started on the dream kitchen you've always wanted?
I'm Chris Haygood, and from all of us here at Bob Wallace Appliance to the home builders and the homeowners of the Huntsville area, a heartfelt thank you for buying local. We're in Huntsville, Florence, and Coleman, and online at bobwallaceappliance.com.
Are you tired of power outages disrupting your life? It's time for a Generac standby generator from Current Electrical. Storms may rage outside, but inside your family's powered up. So why choose Current Electrical for your generator needs? 1, we offer a wide range of models to suit every budgeted energy requirement. 2, our project managers handle every step of the process: power, gas, permitting, and inspections. 3, our certified technicians install your generator with precision, ensuring peace of mind. Don't wait for the next blackout. Call 256-880-1880 or visit us online at GenSuperstore.com.
The company is Eagle Masonry and Insulation, but did you know they're also Eagle Landscaping and Dirt Work? Eagle can take care of all your landscaping needs, including irrigation, sod work, and planting, both plants and trees. On the dirt work side, Eagle can grade and build your pads, haul dirt in or out, and even do erosion control. Philip Love and his team can do it all for you. The website is the same, insulatewitheagle.com, as is the phone number, 256-755-1556. Give them a call and see what Eagle can do for you. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money. Next time you're online looking for landscaping inspiration, open Instagram and check out Southern Gent Landscaping. They can help make your yard your dream outdoor oasis. Southern Gent Landscaping can handle it all, from landscape maintenance and installation to irrigation and hardscapes, even AstroTurf. Turn your yard into a landscape you'll be proud to show off. Call Southern Gent Landscaping at 256-509-6088. 509-6088. Southern Gent Landscaping. Professional landscaping performed with satisfaction guaranteed.
Thom Luganbill here for my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, check out the gold certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman or at Woody Anderson of Madison on Hughes Road, or visit WoodyAndersonFord.com.
Are you someone who tries to drive while distracted by your phone? Someone who props it on the steering wheel or peeks down at it for a glance? Or just scrolls and scrolls? If so, you could be the next person to get into a fender bender, get a ticket, veer off the road, or even cause a crash that kills you or someone else. Enough already. Put the phone away or pay. Paid for by NHTSA.
The new favorite place for delicious Mexican food is Corralejos Mexican Grill in Huntsville. Check out their reviews on Facebook and you'll see what people are raving about. Enjoy drink specials all day, Monday through Thursday, like house margaritas for $3.99 and 12-ounce drafts for $2. Even vegan-friendly entrees on Monday starting at $5. Corralejos Mexican Grill, 1658 Old Monrovia Road in Huntsville. Follow them on Facebook and Instagram to stay updated on their specials.
For the first time ever,
Roll Tide!
The Tide are rolling to the Final Four. Oh, yeah! It's the Crimson Tide and the Yukon Huskies, live from State Farm Stadium in Glendale, Arizona.
And let's get out of here and go to the Final Four!
Tune in this Saturday for this historic game. Our coverage begins at 6:30 on your home for Alabama basketball. The Crimson Tide Sports Network from Learfield.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. We're going to begin to calm down as we head into the overnight, but it is still going to be on the windy end of the spectrum. Temperatures hanging out in the mid and upper 40s. A partly sunny sky for your Wednesday afternoon. Temperatures only climb into the mid and upper 50s, making a solid run at 60 degrees, but it looks like many of us are going to fall just shy. An isolated shower can't be ruled out Wednesday afternoon. Most of us going to end up staying dry. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
This is Paul Feinbaum. Listen to me coming up today at 2. Now back to the Thom Abraham Show on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Welcome back to Thom Abraham Show. Segment of the show is brought to you by the Orthopedic Center, and they have specialists for pretty much every part of your body, and they take care of just about every school in the region. That's TOC Sports. They take care of Alabama A&M and the Huntsville Havoc as well, all relying on TOC. But, you know, it doesn't have to be a sports injury. Maybe you got hurt in a work accident or a car accident, or maybe just breaking down a little bit. TOC has the right specialist for you. They are North Alabama's largest sports medicine provider. It's TOC Sports. Stay in a game with TOC Sports. Grizz, can you name the last back-to-back national champion in college basketball? Because UConn has, they're the favorite to do it. Back up last year's. I'll give you a hint. They were mentioned in the show, earlier in the show.
Florida?
Yeah, Florida of
Southwest
2006
Florida?
and 2007.
Yeah.
Billy
So I thought
Donovan.
that was the last one because I don't remember another one. Even before that was what was before Florida. UConn, and then before UConn was, or not UConn, but before Florida, what was the back-to-back? You know any?
I don't
either. I don't know enough
just
about
know
college
Florida.
basketball.
Yeah, since Florida, I don't remember any. You know what's also remarkable? Everybody always talks about baseball and Major League Baseball and how Major League Baseball is so top-heavy and all this kind of stuff. Do you know the last back-to-back World Series winners were?
The Yankees?
The Yankees, all the way back in 99 and 2000.
That's what I was going to think.
It has not happened this century.
Yeah, I was thinking that was probably the last time because I didn't think, because 09 was like the first time they had won it since.
25 years, 25 different champions. Not different, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
I mean, it just, and it ain't going to happen this year. You think the Texas Rangers are going to win a
No, I don't think so.
Out of your mind.
Yeah.
If you think that's going to happen. Not going to happen. So, and we'll see if UConn can do it. The first thing I got to do is take care of Alabama. And, if Alabama can do damage from the outside and the big men can somehow do something with the Klingon, Donovan Klingon, the 7'4" center, it's almost like you gotta give the big man his due and just, Alabama's just got to be out of their mind from the outside. They have to have the best three-point shooting, 15-1 on the season when they make 12 or more three-pointers.
So then Duke in 91-92.
Wow.
Yeah, because Kentucky won it in 96, then Arizona in 97, Kentucky in 98.
Dang.
No back-to-back.
All right. It's time for our Tuesday.
9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
It's the Tuesday Top 10.
Are you surprised that it's happened 14 times since 1983 where the men and the women have put from one school have put their doesn't that sound like a lot? Yeah, you would think it would be a lot harder. Think about it. There's 350 schools playing basketball, and 14 times now. Well, actually 14 and 15 if you count 2 this year. First time that's ever happened. Where you got UConn and North Carolina State both with the men and women in there. First time it happened is 1983. The reason the first time it happened was 1983 is I don't know when the women's tournament started. I think the women's tournament didn't start till the 80s. I don't know exactly when they started having the women's, madness, March Madness.
The first NCAA women's basketball tournament was held in 1982.
There you go. I'm on a roll today, pulling stuff out of my rectum. Have you noticed that? I mean, I pulled the 88 win. For a guy that doesn't know whether it's a ball or a basketball or a volleyball, I pulled the 88 game win streak by the UCLA, and I said that they started playing this tournament. The reason that happened in 83 for the first time is because they started playing the tournament like in the early 80s. So 82. And second year of the Chicks tournament, it was Georgia. The men and the women made it, and they both lost in the Final Four level. In 1999, Duke did it. The men were a 1 seed. The women were the 3 seed, and they both lost in the Natty in the national championship game in 1999. In 2002, Oklahoma did it. The men were a 2, the women a 1. The men lost in the Final Four, and the women lost in the Natty. In 2003, Texas did it. They had a 1 seed and a 2 seed, and they both lost in the Final Four in the national semifinal. And then 2004 happened, and it was the first time UConn and the men and the women were both 2 seeds. They were both 2 seeds, and the men and the women both won the national championship. It was the first time that ever happened. It happened again the next year in 2005. They didn't win, but it happened at Michigan State as a 5 seed made it, and the women were a 1 seed. The men lost in the Final Four, and the women lost in the Natty. 2006, LSU did it. In 2006, the men were a 4, the women were a 1. The women are always a 1 or 2 or 3. I mean, come on. In 2006, the men lost in the final. They both lost in the Final Four. The women were a 1 seed as well. 2009, UConn again. This time, they're both 1 seeds, and the women won the national championship. 1 of 30, I think, that Gino Auriemma, 11 that he won. The men lost in the Final Four. The women won the national championship. The next year, in 2011, the UConn men won the national championship as a 3 seed. The UConn women in 2011 lost in the Final Four, so 2 years later. In 2013, Louisville, men were a 1, women were a 5. I mean, a 5. That's crazy. Might be the lowest seed ever to make the Final Four on the women's side. The men won the Natty in 2013. Rick Pitino, I think, was their coach that year. And the women lost in the national championship game. So they almost pulled off the double dip. The following year, 2014, UConn, the men made it to the Final Four as a 7 seed. The women were a 1 seed, and they both won the national championship 10 years ago. That was 2014. In 2016, Syracuse was a 10. The women were at a 4. And Syracuse lost in the Final Four, and the women lost in the national championship. 2017, South Carolina. In 2017, the men were a 7 seed, lost in the Final Four. The women won the Natty. And now you got 2 this year. NC State, which is an 11 on the men's side and a 3 on the women's side. And UConn, which is a 1 on the men's side and a 3 on the women's side. It's hard to think of UConn as a 3 on the women's side.
Yeah, they had like a bad slip up these last couple of years, and it's like South Carolina's kind of taking that mantle. LSU won last year, obviously, and it's like it's still UConn. Like they beat teams by like 80, and it's like decent programs too that they beat by 80.
And they're playing the UConn women. Is UConn playing Iowa? I think UConn's playing Iowa. UConn's playing Iowa, and NC State is playing South Carolina.
Yep.
Yeah, NC State, the Carolinas are going at it. NC State and South Carolina. All right, we get a break. We will come back. Got some time to stick a call in there. If you want to jump in, you can do it. It's the Thom Abraham Show on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
T-minus 3, 2, 1, blast. Trash Panda Nation. One lifted in the right. Red no Shurda. Trent Wall. It is gone.
Pandemonium is just around the corner. The Trash Pandas 2024 season blasts off on April 9th. Single game tickets start at just $8 at tptix.com.
Let's rock it.
Valley Equipment Rental has grown by leaps and bounds over the past year and is adding more and more equipment to their already impressive fleet. Valley is a locally owned family equipment rental business serving the entire Tennessee Valley. They concentrate on the local contractors, building repeat business and specializing in long-term rentals for their local contractors. The benefit of long-term rental is that they stay on top of their assets. If something you own goes down in a field, you have to stop and fix it before you can finish the job. With Valley Equipment Rental, they will fix it on site or bring you another machine while that one's being fixed. More importantly, Valley is locally owned and operated, which means when you have an issue, you can get someone on it right away, right here in the Valley. Heck, ask for Ross Roberts, the owner, if you like. Try calling one of the big box national outlets and asking for the owner. That's if you can even get through the automation. Buy local. Buy Valley Equipment Rental. Valley Equipment Rental has 2 locations, one on the North and South Parkway. Learn more at valleyequipmentrents.com.
Tired of the same old menu options everywhere you go? Then you need to try Metro Diner in Huntsville and Madison. The award-winning Metro Diner serves up signature dishes like their Charleston shrimp and grits, famous fried chicken and waffles with strawberry butter, and lots more. Their entire menu is available anytime, breakfast, lunch, or dinner. And stop by for brunch on Saturday or Sunday and enjoy the lowest price mimosas in town. Airport Road, Huntsville, and Highway 72 in Madison. In diner or at home, make it Metro Diner.
Hi, my name is Dan Aldridge. I'm here to let you know about the Aldridge Law Firm and the soon-to-be-announced Legal Town Center. I've been practicing law in Alabama since 1984, and I also practice in Tennessee. And I'm from North Alabama, and I'm here to represent you and take care of your legal needs. For many of us, hiring an attorney is not high on the priority list, and maybe a little scary. But it's something that we all need at some point. So by all means, do your homework. And if you need representation for car accident, wrongful death, medical malpractice, nursing home abuse, or estate planning, or any other matter, just give us a call at 256-534-3188. And you can email me at Dan, that is Dan at danaldridgelaw.com. Dan at danaldridgelaw.com. God bless America.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
When I chose a garage door company, I did my homework. I needed Precision Overhead Garage Door Service. They have a 5-star Google rating. I checked their reviews and liked what their customers had to say. Precision Overhead Garage Door has lifetime warranty packages. Same-day service if I call before 2 p.m. If they can't make it the same day, my service call fee the next day is waived. They did a 25-point safety inspection on the door and operator. Now that's peace of mind. Residential, commercial, and gate services. Precision Overhead Garage Door Service. Call 256-400-4500.
Specializing in simple and affordable rentals, McCurry Van and Car Rental can make sure you have just the right vehicle for your next family vacation, weekend getaway, or if you just need transportation while your vehicle is being repaired. McCurry carries Ford Transit vans and Mercedes Sprinter vans, trucks and work vans, and more. And they offer discounted rental rates for long-term rentals. Now with 4 locations: Athens, Muscle Shoals, Coleman, and Huntsville. Log on McCurryRentals.com to make your reservation now. That's McCurryRentals.com.
By now, you know about Eagle Masonry and Insulation, and maybe you know that Eagle also does landscaping and dirt work. But how about after paint work? Shower doors, shelving, and mirrors, all taken care of by Eagle, the same Eagle that takes care of all your masonry, insulation, and landscaping needs. Eagle brings the same level of expertise to all these disciplines, and they're ready to provide you with a free quote. The website is the same, insulatewitheagle.com, as is the phone number, 256-755-1556. Give them a call and see what Eagle can do for you. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. We're going to begin to calm down as we head into the overnight, but it is still going to be on the windy end of the spectrum. Temperatures hanging out in the mid and upper 40s. A partly sunny sky for your Wednesday afternoon. Temperatures only climb into the mid and upper 50s, making a solid run at 60 degrees, but it looks like many of us are going to fall just shy. An isolated shower can't be ruled out Wednesday afternoon. Most of us going to end up staying dry. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Our steady diet consists of food and football, and occasionally some baseball and hoops.
Did you eat a lot of paint chips when you were a kid?
97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Segment of Tom Abraham Show is brought to you by our good friends at Valley Equipment Rental. Ross Roberts and his team, locally owned, is Valley Equipment Rental. You know what, though? That's not the only reason why you want to use Valley Equipment Rental for all your rental equipment needs. You want to use them because they're the best. I mean, it's that simple. The fact that they're locally owned, that's a big plus. But they're the best. They got the most of everything. They got the most skid steers over there. They got the most mini excavators. They got the most lifts. They got everything that you possibly need to get the job done. And they've got the big excavators. They got the dozers now. They've got everything. And they're delivering everywhere in the valley. And you can even use your own trailer. Once they check it out, make sure your trailer's, safe. And, and then that'll work as well. 2 locations, North Parkway, South Parkway. That's where you find our good friends at Valley Equipment Rental. All right, Grizz, 78 degrees right now. We would have made it through. You see? We could have had the media day today at the Trash Pandas.
All right.
We would have been all right. It's not supposed to rain till 6:59. No, 6:27 is when the rain starts, okay? 6:27, and there'll be some rain. Now they're not even calling for so much as stormy. Just rain, some wind coming in. Let me just check the wind for you. Wind gusts to 25 miles an hour. Wind is 15 miles an hour out of south-southwest. It's not that bad. It's not that bad.
No.
Not that bad. It's fine. It's going to be a pretty day tomorrow. Okay? All right. Now, we were supposed to tomorrow have a short show because the Braves are supposed to be playing in Chicago. We understand there might be 5 inches of snow on the ground there in Chicago by the time they wake up in the morning. And if that's the case, chances are they're not playing that baseball game.
Nah,
Does it make any sense at all that Atlanta opened in Philadelphia and Chicago when they got a stadium in Atlanta?
No.
Like the Yankees are playing in Houston and Arizona.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you're forcing us to start the season in March, shouldn't it be all of the Dome or Southern places?
You'd think they get that right. Baseball seems to never get it
Why
right.
couldn't the Braves start 2 series at home? 2 series at home. Why not?
Yeah. No, it
all comes out in a wash.
Stupid. Yeah.
It's crazy. All right, my cousin Vinny closes the show out. Vinny, welcome in. How are you?
Tom, I am outstanding. How are you?
I am great.
Real quick, UConn can be beat. They've been beat 3 times this year. They can be beat. So roll Tide. Keep your hat on and roll Tide.
Yeah. Both those teams that beat them. When Creighton beat them and Seton Hall beat them, they turned around later on in the year and destroyed them. But, yeah, they can be beat. Anybody can be beat. But it's now up to 12, by the way, and the other game is up to 10. I mean, these are not expected to be close games on Saturday.
I think we'll be okay. Real quick, and we don't have time to really get into the story, but I know you'll remember it. The other day you were talking about what a scumbag Pete Rose was.
Yeah.
And you remember what he did to Ray Fosse?
Yeah, well, yeah. To me, that wasn't scumbaggery. That's hard play. I mean, he ran Ray Fosse over in the All-Star game and at home, broke his shoulder, and pretty much Ray Fosse was never the same after that. But that's not scumbaggery. Scumbaggery was the way he treated his wife and his sons and his family and and those other things he did.
I'm just saying, if he had a few hundred on the game, he would take end a guy's career. In an All-Star game. That's all, But anyway, here and there. Roll Tide, thanks for taking my call. Have a great day.
There was zero evidence, and it was a pretty extensive investigation. There was zero evidence that Rose ever bet, when he was playing. So I'm going to take that for what it's worth. All right, that's going to do it for us. Coming up next, it's the Paul Feinbaum Show on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.